We're never gonna get to the
You,
PV
you,
stuff
you don't
yet.
want to do this? You want to avoid doing this now?
Yeah, we can go for a little bit, I guess. My only issue is that we're basically creating a rule that, like, if anybody gets in your face and like starts like acting aggressive, that we can just shoot and kill them, I guess, in any area.
Well, no, I think the reasonable thing that this guy did was ask the person to stop while also retreating. But I do know that in Virginia specifically, you don't have to retreat for self defense purposes. That's not like a burden that you actually have to achieve for self
Yeah, but
defense.
I guarantee you, you still have to show that there's imminent, severe, like bodily harm or whatever could come to you. Is like, or you have to have a feeling about that. That's like
Yeah,
standard self defense almost anywhere.
yeah. So in this situation, even though the verdict was not guilty, it wasn't like it was instantaneous. So obviously, some people had reservations in regards to the whole verdict itself. I think that's why it came back initially split and then afterwards not guilty, which I think is probably accurate about how most people feel about this case. For a lot of people, they do see this as very reasonable self defense, and that most people, if you got up in their face, they ask you to stop and get away from them three, four times, and you don't, and you keep advancing, then yeah, they would see you as someone who's going to cause imminent threat. And the thing is, I can't just wait to see what it is that you're going to do when you're getting up in my face with your hands and whatever it is that you're doing, because by the time I already figure it out, it might be too late. You've already shown that you are a threatening person when I've told you to get away from me and you're continue to advance. And obviously, him being bigger, taller, all these things factor in. And the fact that he
Sure, but I'm
came with
saying like
somebody else.
let's say that there were a couple guys that were out with their kids at like a grocery store or a Target, and they got the wrong impression that some guy was like looking at their kid weird or touched their kid. They saw something incorrectly. They fucked up. And let's say the two guys approached like a smaller guy and like, yo, did you just touch our kid or what the is going on here? And the guy's like, no, get the away from me. Like, no, hold on, what the did you do? Are you telling me that in your world that dude can blow both those guys away? He can kill both of them because they're getting in his face and being aggressive.
Yeah, probably. If he's telling them repeatedly to get away and they keep advancing on him, I think based off of how the law is set up over where you are, that would be reasonable to call myself. If they're approaching in a threatening manner, yeah. Is that not how the law over there works? Because that's what it sounds like.
In general, no, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. I think you usually have to show. I mean, I say that, but it really depends. There have been some self-defense
Like,
cases.
if those dads look like they were going to beat up that short person, okay, it's very reasonable for him to be like, I'm being threatened right now by two people, okay, who are angry about something I have no idea about, right? And they're advancing on me. Yeah, I could definitely see that being a valid self-defense case. Can you not? And you have to also think the burden of proof is on the prosecution to hit guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Can you really say beyond reasonable doubt that the
Wait,
man?
wait, wait! No! Hold on, careful, okay? For an affirmative defense, it's a little bit different. The burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. Hold on. This might actually depend on the state, but it's beyond a reasonable doubt to convict somebody of a criminal thing, a criminal charge. But if a person is using an affirmative defense, in some states, they have to show that their defense was like, you don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it wasn't self-defense. But I think that might depend on the state. So I would be careful in saying that it's here, yeah. Because I think for Rittenhouse it was a little bit different, but
Yes, he would have to show that he actually does meet the burden for self-defense. So that is something that the defense would have to do. But all this to say, I think you can make that case of self-defense. Many people have and have
well, hold
successfully
on, hold
done.
on. I think we gotta be a little careful. I agree that like a case for self-defense can be made here. So if the guy like sucker punched the dude in the face and ran or some shit like that, like I'd be like 100% that's okay. But we're talking about can you kill somebody for getting in your face and being aggressive, which I feel like is, like I said before, if this was happening in a different area, if he wasn't in the middle of a mall, I would be a little bit, I'd probably be on board with this. Again, if it was in the street or at night somewhere, but in the middle of a public area where there's just like two people like in your face, they're not even like screaming at him. They are being aggressive, but I don't think they've touched him at all yet, right? They're kind of in his face, but it could be more. Like, I don't know, man. In the middle of a mall, that just seems wild to me. But yeah, I don't know.
And that's fair for people to be torn on it and say like, I don't know if I would say that's 100% justified. And I think that's where the jury really was. I think it's only because they were forced to push through and keep going that they eventually came back with a not guilty. But the jury is as torn as the public. So I think the law and how it was applied here is fairly indicative of how most people, at least the general public, feels about it. So I don't think this case coming back as not guilty is that absurd. Like you making it sound like it's crazy, but I'm like, isn't it that? Even you sound kind of torn on it.
No, that to pull that gun out and shoot that dude like that quickly, that was pretty wild. That's a pretty crazy video. That dude, like, almost. um,
Okay. So let me ask you: if the
yeah.
dude keeps following him, doesn't do anything, okay, but he just keeps repeating the action, at what point can the guy shoot him? Does he have to keep running?
I mean,
Like,
the guys haven't touched you yet. I'm trying to think of, like, if the guys haven't touched you yet, and the guys haven't made an explicit threat. Because I don't, unless I misheard it, the guys didn't say anything like, "We're gonna get you, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, we're gonna." They haven't made any threat yet, right? They haven't actually touched the guy at all yet. The guy's not even. He's kind of trying to get away, but not really. Like, it's not like the guy is running. Now, like, if the guy started running, he's like, "Yo, get the fuck," and he starts running, and the two dudes, like, come running after him, maybe a little bit, but, like, damn, this guy, somebody said in chat, the whole interaction was, like, 17 seconds. I don't know how much of an effort he even made to, like, really move away. But, I mean, people are saying there's no duty to retreat if somebody's being aggressive to you in a public area. Maybe, but...
I know for a fact, for self-defense case law in Virginia, you don't need to retreat. You don't have that responsibility. And my question is, how long would he have to retreat while still enduring the same thing with someone literally being up in his face with that phone the way he was initially being surrounded? How long before he can react is what I'm asking you. Is there like a time threshold for you? You've already said no multiple times or stop and try to move the guy away. And the guy kept advancing in a threatening manner, which you may not see it as threatening, but I think for most people, when a big dude is
the
a
guy, it was definitely, like, threatening. But,
okay.
like, there was no physical contact. There was no explicit threat made. It was spooky for sure. I'm just trying to think of, like, it feels like if anybody ever got confused and thought that you were doing something you weren't supposed to, or whatever, got in your face about it, is it carte blanche to just kill anybody then at that point?
I would say this: if he'd not said stop 3 times, I think I would be on your side of the story. Okay, if he'd not retreated from the person and the dude advanced on him, or like if he'd not retreated. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If he had not retreated and he just pulled out the gun and started shooting, I might have also felt different. But he retreated and he said stop multiple times and the dude kept advancing. It is reasonable. I could see from his perspective how he felt threatened and he really felt like there was a harm.
Yeah, okay, hold on. You keep saying this thing. You keep saying he felt threatened. I'm not saying he didn't feel threatened. I don't know why people keep repeating this, like, did he feel threatened? Nobody's disagreeing that he wasn't threatened. It was, do you feel like you're threatened to suffer severe and imminent bodily harm? The argument is not whether he was threatened. Clearly he's threatened. Anybody getting in your face is a type of threat. But was it reasonable for him to fear for his life at that point? In the middle of a mall with 2 guys that are up, like, kind of in your face for 15 seconds? Is that enough to say, I feel so threatened that I'm going to kill, where they haven't laid eyes on you, they haven't made an explicit threat?
I think it's reasonable here, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.